All right, welcome to the Straight Red Card. This is the last segment. We're going to take your questions and be patient about it. At the same time, Brett, did you finish that Milky Way?
I did.
Okay, good.
It was nice. Coated my throat nicely. It's a little rough, so.
You know, at least it was a Milky Way because it has some caramel with that nougat. Because when I think about the Milky Way and I think Musketeers, why would any motherfucker eat a Musketeers? That's just chocolate and nougat. And nougat is like, I mean, it's just fluffy shit.
It's fluff.
It's just fluff. Just eat a Snickers, motherfucker. You know, I mean,
best of both worlds.
You got caramel nougat. Yeah, you got peanuts.
You eating some nuts?
And yeah, we all need to eat nuts because it's good for you and
high in protein.
It's good. It's very high in protein indeed. So yeah, good
that's
stuff.
Definitely not gonna make the comment section.
All right, so we're moving on to this last section where you send us in questions or we just reply to your comments, which is really what's going on here. Because Chris Gary wrote, just to prove I don't agree with everything you say, he says, I think we should start Steffen. I just think that a healthy Mexico team will feast on us with our lack of possession. And if we go down early, then what? Punting the ball up the field won't do. All right, well, okay, some things in there. I'll just say that we're not going to have possession anyhow. It's going to be a lack of possession game anyhow. That's how we do this, right?
That's how most Mexico games are for us.
Yeah. So what's the point? What's the point of bringing Steffen if we're going to have the lack of possession anyhow? Like we're going to build out of the back versus Mexico? They're going to high press us? I don't think it's not going to happen, man. I just, Chris, listen, I agree with your thoughts about, you know, challenging the standard thought on this, but I just don't think possession is going to be our game. And yeah, we are going to be lifting balls and hoping for set pieces and whatever versus Mexico. We're not going to outpossess them. It's just not happening.
It's been a long time since you said lifting balls.
I love using German. All right. So that I hope answers your question, Chris.
Yeah, my take is whether it's Steffen or Turner, I don't really care. I think
we
both
don't
of them
care.
They're both good shot stoppers. Yeah, Steffen brings a little more foot control in the possession game out of the back. Turner's okay as long as he's not overtly pressured, which if he's back there, Mexico's definitely going to press him. But if he's got a little bit of time, he's able to complete a 10-yard, 20-yard pass to somebody, as long as there's not a forward breathing down his neck.
Right. So, I mean, again, it just depends on what you want. I would take either, but I think they're both good shot stoppers. I do think Turner's a better shot stopper. But
yeah, that's the big question. You think what's going to be more likely? We're going to need a better shot stopper or somebody who's better at possession out of the back against Mexico?
I think it's a better shot
Probably
stopper.
The best way of working at it.
Because I don't think we're playing out of the back versus Mexico, and I don't think that's going to be necessary. So if it were, okay, that's trying to like you know, if you're Berhalter and you're like, oh yeah, we're going to play out of the back versus we're going to out possession Mexico. No, I don't think Berhalter even believes that. So I think that you're going to play counter ball on Mexico. I think you're going to try to hit them on a counter. I think you're going to try to score on a set piece, but I do not think you're going to play out of the back versus Mexico because they know if we do that, they're just going to high press us and we're going to lose the ball. So I don't think that's going to happen. Even with Steffen, we're going to lose the ball, folks. Steffen is just a notch over Matt Turner with his feet. Not several notches, a notch. Okay, so next question is from K-Hog. Oh, this is kind of nice because it's kind of about me. Brando, we're going to be the next Pixies. I'm telling you. Yeah, we were trying.
Yeah.
K-Hog.
I mean, I can see why you picked this question.
Yes.
You really need to stroke your own ego, I guess, from time to time.
My own salamander. Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm going to say about that, K-Hog. We have an album coming out soon. It's just going to be on record. and it is somewhat Pixie-esque, but not totally. And you might like it. So if you're interested in that kind of indie rock, independent music, we were back around the 90s. Hey, we played shows with a lot of different bands. We never got to play with the Pixies because that was kind of out of our league, but we did play with Guided by Voices. We were on the same label with Guided by Voices. So if you like that kind of shit, stay tuned. The next question was, it's not a question, I guess it is. Still convinced Pulisic might start. I don't know, Brad. I'm not convinced he's going to start. So this was pointed at me since I had him listed as a starter. No, I'm not convinced at all to answer that question. I'm not convinced. I don't know if you have anything to add.
My take is I doubt it. Quite frankly, we mentioned this in the first segment with the weekend review. People were saying that he looked like he was injured or hurt at the end of the last match. Tuchel's saying that, he's still recovering. Hopefully we use him sparingly. I thought one of the most interesting things was that Antonio Robinson came out and said that his appearance in camp has improved morale. So I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he's basically saying hey, we're all, stoked that he's back. This might not necessarily be a window that Pulisic is set to play both matches as much as possible, but more come on, guys, rallying call. Like, let's get this shit going. I'm going to come back in and go super sub in for about 5-10 minutes or whatever. Probably more like 10-15, but
you did call him Antonio Robinson.
Did I call him Antonio? Yeah. Antonio Robinson.
I think his parents deliberately named him. No, Anthony. All right, yes. But no, you're right. I mean, it does. It brings some morale to the team to have him back. Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah,
I believe it. Common name, Robinson, Antonio. Berlin Americana says, what exactly has Brian Reynolds done to Mourinho? We're not getting to dog things or anything like that.
No, I think that ship's sailed. I think we talked about that enough. And I don't think Marino's an animal lover.
You don't know that.
I don't know that.
You don't know that. Marino might have like several dogs for all we know, but I do know that Brian Reynolds should never have gone to Roma in the first place. I mean, that never looked good, even from the start. I mean, he got some minutes, but that's fortunate.
It's fortunate that I've got an insider at Roma, and I know what the reason is.
What is it?
Reynolds told him that he was not a big fan of the 2016 Ghostbusters movie.
What does that have to do with the price of bread?
I mean, that's why because Marino is a big fan of the movie.
No, he isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I believe he was quoted saying it was the #1 movie in the world. Something like that.
Okay, not buying it.
Might be paraphrasing again.
I'm not even going along with this, Brett.
Big fan of 2016 Ghostbusters. It's true.
Which one is that even?
It's the gender swap Ghostbuster.
Oh, you're just looking to get yourself in some trouble, aren't you?
That movie was garbage. Garbage.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch
3/4 of it. It was bad. I don't care.
That was the writing. There were some good actresses in that.
Not saying anything bad about the actual actresses. They're funny in their own right.
Yeah, the writing.
So my beef with that movie, in comparison to the originals, is the 2016 Ghostbusters was nothing but one-liners. It was just one-liner.
Yeah,
one-liner.
That's right.
That's because the director was just like, hey, this is what we want to say. Go ahead and say whatever. And they just did a bunch of things and they picked whatever they want.
No, that's a script.
No, again, it's a bad movie. I never said anything about the actresses. Saying it's a bad movie.
I mean, there were some good actresses in that movie, but I mean, you give anybody a shitty script, there's no way that can be saved.
Well, most of the script can't be an improv, and I know there's some scenes, there's some lines where obviously they're not improv because you can't techno babble that much garbage off the cuff.
Well, it's like the middle movies for Star Wars, like Anakin's character. I mean, some of that was the
Yeah,
worst writing I have ever. I mean, you can blame that
so
guy
you're
who's
saying
the
you do like
actor.
sand? Is that what you're saying?
Who?
Saying you like sand? It's the thing
Sand?
that's yes that the Earth
What?
particle sand, as in like from the beach, sand, a
What is that?
desert, sand.
Who the what? What does that have to do with
Have
anything?
you seen the second movie?
I don't know what second movie we're talking about
Star
because
Wars.
there's like part one, second
Part
movie,
two.
part two, second movie, part three, second movie. What fucking movie are you talking about, Brett?
Part
I've
two.
lost track.
You brought up Anakin.
Well,
You
it's
brought up Anakin in the second movie. I'm talking about a quote from the second movie.
I'm talking about the guy who became Darth Vader and the
Oh,
total
my fucking hell.
transformation into Darth Vader.
Yes, Derek.
Yeah.
I know that. In the second movie, where Anakin is prominent, he talks about how he doesn't like sand because it's coarse and it gets everywhere. It's a horrible fucking line.
Oh, well,
Jesus
Brett,
Christ.
you actually think I know that much about Star Wars? Come on.
Anybody who's seen the movie knows that line.
I don't. I've seen it twice, and I still don't know it.
I'm highly doubting that. I think you may have watched a synopsis video of somebody recapping it or something. Even then, they talk about that. Everybody talks about that.
You crazy, man. You crazy, because you're into that shit.
Your favorite character is Jar Jar. Don't get me wrong.
I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah,
that's like
covering it up now. I know. You had a huge fan page back in the day.
I hated it.
You dressed up like Jar Jar. Every Halloween. I know this.
But all I'm saying is the writing for that movie might have distracted me from giving a shit. So here we go.
No, Anakin's character was poorly written and poorly acted too. Not a big Hayden Christian fan.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could blame it on him too. He didn't like even fake it well. So
every movie he's in, he whines, whine. He's just, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any other movies.
Hopefully, he's better in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that's coming out on Disney.
Was that coming out for real?
Sure, yeah, it's finally coming out.
They've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, COVID, bitch, man.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, the beer bug's a bitch, man.
I know. All right, Colin Reese then makes this comment. Ives had a hilarious rant on his podcast about the Luca de la Torre crowd, and I'm guessing it went something like this, since it's not accessible anymore. You can't listen to it.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, Luca de Torre plays on a mid-level crappy Netherlands team, and all these freakazoids that are out there advocating for him are going, they're just losing their nuts, and then you need to calm down. And so I'm guessing that's what he generally said. And in that case, that's fine. I just think that we've seen enough of certain players, and it would have been nice with the expanded roster availability to bring him in and have him as an option, especially versus Jamaica. But no, Gregg did not want to do that. So we're not going to do that.
Is he capable of is De La Torre capable of having bad games? Sure. Everybody's capable of having bad games. But his control on the ball and the way he possesses and the way he can out dribble, there's no reason he shouldn't be on this roster.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he has to start.
Nope.
I'm not saying he would start. I'm just saying I could list a couple players that he could start over.
Keep looking at him, keep bringing him, keep integrating him.
The reason that would be a bad take, if that's what he said, the reason that's a bad take is it doesn't matter if he's playing for a bad team in a quote unquote MLS on par league.
Yeah.
You look at the player. So let's just say if he was the same player playing the same way in MLS, who cares? You're still looking at the player and the quality of the player itself. Doesn't matter what league he actually. I mean, it does matter what league he plays on. I mean, if you're killing it at like a 6th division England, of course, let's not call him up.
All right.
But I'm just saying, it's a bad take if that's the take.
Listen, I don't know how crazy people are out there. I'm not on Twitter. I don't know how many people are saying that Berhalter is a complete fucking half-wit because he didn't bring Luca de la Torre over Leggett. I don't know that, but it didn't have to be over Leggett. It could have been on top of legit, not hammering him or whatever.
Stay still. No.
I mean, this is not a gay porn. I'm just saying, on top of legit, as an
along with
him. Yes, exactly. So this is not. I'm not trying.
You bring up an interesting point there, and I was trying to figure out how we can fit this in. But everybody should know that if you're interacting with somebody on Twitter on our channel, it's me. Derek does not frequent the Twitter.
No, I do not do Twitter.
I do all the interaction on there. And quite frankly, I don't spend that much time on Twitter as a whole. But I've come across the past couple of days a group of people basically stating that the U.S. men's national team fan base is the most toxic fan base that they've ever experienced. Yeah. And then you have a bunch of people basically saying, grow a pair, And all
right. Yeah. Move to England, motherfucker. Move to Brazil, move to fucking Germany, move to anywhere else. If you think this is toxic, you've got another thing coming. This is not toxic. This is just.
So I'm sure it's in reference to all the people bitching about anything that Berhalter does. There absolutely is. There are definitely some posters, some very active posters out there on Twitter that are, anti Berhalter and basically call him
Fire Berhalter movement.
A lot of basically, and a lot of stuff that we complain about, and like why is this person constantly brought in? They take to another level, which is fine. By all means, it's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want. It's Twitter. It's an open forum. And guess what? I tell all the pundits out there who quickly go through a ban, the ban hammer and just start banning anybody who has a difference of opinion. I tell them the exact same thing. You don't have to ban people. You don't have to listen to people. Just mute them or ignore them.
Yeah.
Quit being kind of bitchy about it. It's an online forum. There's going to be different opinions. There are going to be people who take it a little further than needs be, but I don't care. They're all perfectly fine. Whether you think Berhalter is the bee's knees or you think he's a piece of shit or somewhere in between, whatever. It's all great.
You know what? There's just a lot of people who get butthurt really easy. And I would say to them, you know what? Get a little more confidence, because who cares? I've been criticized. You've been criticized. A lot of people get criticized. Filippo gets criticized constantly. It's okay. We don't have as much flack coming our way. I think that's because we're not quite as serious about it. But
speaking of which, and I know I already showed you this, but Pete brought up a topic, and like a pro tip, he talks about how like people who are on Twitter honestly talk about soccer will agree and disagree. People who are not there are just trolls. Their Twitter is basically to nurture their superiority complex that is fundamentally rooted in insecurity. My response to that obviously was, this is why I refer to those who disagree with me as peasants. Not everyone can be as perfect as me.
Which is obviously a joke. You are, no, I mean, it's a joke. You do obviously think you're superior than others.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that.
It's not rooted by insecurity, though.
The funny thing about that
far from insecure.
The funny thing about that joke is it's not far from a joke.
That's what makes it funny.
Exactly. By the way, your dog's been snoring for the last 20 minutes in the background.
It could be worse. She could be ripping ass right now.
It could be worse. Yes.
I'm cooped up in about a 10 by 10 room right now, doors closed, and usually she's an 11 going on 12-year-old boxer. And I swear to God, something's crawled up her butt and died, because it is so bad. Most of the time.
I was thinking, are those cars going by your house? And I'm like, no, I've been to Brett's house.
It's a very busy part of Noblesville.
Yeah, it's not like it's not on a highway. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's his dog going the background.
It's very, very fitting to our show, in all honesty. I put my dog to sleep by talking about soccer.
Yes, and that's good for your dog. Oh, I love that. I love that last groan she did, or he or she.
She.
It's a she. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So let's do Jay Berg, who said Norway. No way. Not
Norway. Norwich? Norway? No. No way.
No way.
Not
Areola
gonna.
starts over Way versus Mexico. What are you watching, Jay Berg? That's exactly what Berhalter does every game. He starts Areola over Way unless Areola gets like a ankle herpes
sprain.
Yeah, and he's out for the game.
Ariel was going to start all 3 games last window, but Way got the last start because something happened during warm-ups.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that Areola got knee gonorrhea and the kneecap version of the gonorrhea.
He's had that for years though.
Yeah, I know, but it comes and goes. Depending on the treatment. And so he had to pull out of the game. And so Way pulled into the game. Way up pulled into the game. And he smacked it like a bitch.
Way had to pull in the game.
He scored a goal. So, dude, I understand what you're saying. I get the sentiment. No way Areola starts over Way should be the sentiment. But
well, I think maybe you left off part of it. Maybe after no way does Areola start over Way, comma, unless you're Gregg Berhalter.
That's exactly right.
You missed that. We just forgot to cover that last segment, right?
I wish that were.
There's usually like a read more at the bottom of those comments. You click on that, and you can see the rest of it.
I love the Jay Berg, but that comment, Jay Berg, Berhalter is the coach of this team. So there, yes, in a real different world where somebody else is the manager, yes, Weah should start over Areola.
In the year 2000.
In the year 2000. Yes, this is, I mean, we're living where we're living right now, right?
Oh, those are great segments.
Those were, oh God, I miss Conan so much. I miss Conan so much.
The green lights coming up from under there. Yeah. In the year 2000.
I'm still glad he has a YouTube show, thankfully.
Yeah.
I miss that guy. He was the last of the greats. I don't
now
know.
Late night suck balls.
So does SNL. Did you watch SNL this Saturday?
No. I haven't watched SNL for a while.
Dude, it was the most unfunniest shit I have ever watched. Like they took a step even further backwards.
This is as close to watching it as I've done in about a decade. I watched the highlights of all the videos that Bill Burr was in when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about it.
Well,
because I like Bill Burr.
There was a couple weekends ago that the show wasn't bad, but this weekend show was an all-time stinker, dude. Maybe the one of the worst SNL shows I've ever watched. I'm not going into the specific skits, but it was awful. Holy shit. It was so unfunny.
I have better things to do on a Saturday night. Usually
I don't watch it. I don't watch it on Saturday Night Live. I on Saturday night, I just go to YouTube and watch the clips like of each segment. And I was like, well, that one wasn't funny. Well, that one was just not. That wasn't even funny. That was like not funny. That was the opposite of funny.
Basically, you sit down, you watch the show, you just skip all the commercials.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. So those are your questions, except for we do want to Gregg Berhalter. Thank you for saying that we are the Curb Your Enthusiasm of soccer shows. I had originally said we're the Seinfeld of soccer shows because our show's about nothing, but that's not really true. Our show is about something, a lot of somethings, but nothing in particular. So, like,
in fairness, the main guy in Curb Your Enthusiasm was the writer for Seinfeld.
Yeah, Larry David.
Yeah, Larry David.
Yeah, who I love. Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's one of my favorite shows, and hopefully it remains so. And then Seinfeld.
Is it still going on right now?
No, I watched the shit out of that show when it was. I think I.
Well, you said hopefully it's still. I mean, like I feel like it sounded like it was like there's still seasons to come because most shows continue to stretch out further and further until they jump the shark.
I think I was saying hopefully people still watch it because I think it's a lot of fun. And it's a great show. I just kind of checked out like once George got married, was gonna get married, and then his
Still talking
wife
about Seinfeld?
Seinfeld, yeah, and he was gonna die, and his wife died. That was really weird. And maybe their shows
from licking stamps or something like that for their wedding invitations, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. But there's so many great things from that show, from shrinkage to
the water was cold.
And how long can you go without jerking it? You know, that
no
show,
soup for you. Come back 1 year.
No soup for you. Yeah, that was awesome. Just a great show. We don't have a lot of shows like that left anymore, and that's kind of sad. But that was, I mean, we do is sort of the in the cartoon form or whatever.
I love the there was an interview with Jerry. I think years after it finally ended, but was Larry King? Is that the old ass interviewer?
Yes,
guy?
He's dead.
And, yeah, R.I.P.
I'm sorry,
but
I shouldn't laugh about that,
but he came out.
The guy lived forever.
Yeah. But he's like, he said, yeah, it was a shame that you guys got canceled. He goes, you think we got canceled? Nah, man. I'm paraphrasing again here, but it's like, nah, bitch, we went out on top,
Yeah,
top rated show ever. We left.
Yeah, they didn't.
We didn't get canceled. Though we got canceled.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, for Larry King, like it's that whole thing where Louis C.K. says, like, I don't want people to like hear about the fact that I died, and people are like, yeah, that makes sense, But when Larry King died, it was like, yeah, that makes sense. He died. It's it's about time. All right, I think we're done for tonight. Those are 3 shows. I don't know what order they're going to come out in. Probably the order they recorded in, but you never know. Keep following, keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing it with whomever. We don't really give a fuck at this point. And we'll see you the next time on the Straight Red Card.